Let us start the meditation. Take a very comfortable posture by crossing your hands, fingers into fingers, by crossing your legs, by gently closing your eyes. Let us all make an attempt to be in here and now, letting go of all thoughts related to past or the future. Just become aware of how you are sitting, where you are sitting. Once you're comfortable enough, let us comfort the mind. By relaxing the mind as much as possible. Mind is really magical and mind is really powerful. We have to just give rest to our mind. So it can give us clarity. Just become aware of your breath, natural breath.
Das ist Frank.
Wir sind in Stellung, Frank.
Frank hat gerade dieses Gefecht gewonnen. Denn Frank macht seine Hausaufgaben. Denn bei World of Tanks ist Vorbereitung der Weg zum Sieg. World of Tanks. Wissen, was gespielt wird.
Ein TV Now Original.
Hallo zusammen, ich bin
Wix merchants are set to break records this holiday season, and
vor Austrocknung. Nasig Neo, die neue patentierte Formel mit Hyaluron. Zu Risiken und Nebenwirkungen lesen Sie die Packungsbeilage und fragen Sie Ihren Arzt oder Apotheker.
Last 2 minutes, friends. Bring back your awareness to your physical body. Hold a lot of gratitude to each and every person that you have met in your life, friends. Hold a lot of gratitude to Mother Earth, nature, and entire universe. Express your gratitude to every living and non living thing, friends. This last 1 minute, I would like to share few lines which Swami Rama had said. He says, life is like a wheel. In the center of the wheel, there is a hub that does not move. But wherever you go, that center is with you. The center itself never moves, but it moves when the wheel rotates. It goes with the wheel. How will you classify and define that center which moves yet does not move? It is the cause of all movements, but it does not move itself. You cannot study that thing which moves. That which moves is not everlasting, is not truth. Body, senses, and mind moves. They are not the everlasting part of the self. That which does not move is immortal. Deep within us, that which is the center of the consciousness does not move. So let us all connect in a wakeful state, also, friends, to that consciousness which is deep within us, which is immortal. Last 5 seconds, friends. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now slowly place your both hands over your eyes for a few seconds. And whenever you are ready, you may open your eyes and take off your hands. Welcome back, friends. I hope you all had a peaceful meditation. If there is anyone who wishes to share their experiences, please go ahead and unmute yourself. And if you have any questions, you can go ahead as well. If you are still in that state, please continue being in that state. All right, friends. So without much delay, let me get back to Catherine and Dr. Weiss. And later, if you have any questions, you can ask me. So the last line of yesterday's chapter was, by knowledge we approach God. That was a statement. I see a square white house with a sandy road in front. People on horses are going back and forth. Catherine was speaking in her usual dreamy whisper. There are trees, a plantation, a big house with a bunch of smaller houses, like slave houses. It's very hot. It's in the South, Virginia. She thought the date was 1873. She was a child. There are horses and lots of crops, corn, tobacco. She and the other servants ate in a kitchen of a big house. She was black, and her name was Abby. She felt a foreboding, and her body tensed. The main house was on fire, and she watched it burn down. I progressed her 15 years in time to 1888. I am wearing an old dress, cleaning a mirror on the second floor of a house, a brick house with windows, with lots of paints. The mirror is wavy, not straight, and it has knobs on the end. The man who owns the house is named James Manson. He has a funny coat with three buttons and a big black collar. He has a beard. I didn't recognize him as someone in Catherine's present lifetime. He treats me well. I live in a house on the property. I clean the rooms. There is a schoolhouse on the property, but I'm not allowed in the school. I make butter too. Catherine was whispering slowly, using very simple terms and paying great attention to detail. Over the next 5 minutes, I learned how to make butter. Abby's knowledge of churning butter was new to Catherine, too. I moved her ahead in time. I'm with somebody, but I don't think we are married. We sleep together, but we don't always live together. I feel okay about him, but nothing special. I don't see any children. There are apple trees and ducks. Other people are in the distance. I'm picking apples. Something is making my eyes itch. Catherine was grimacing with her eyes closed. It's the smoke. The wind is blowing it this way, the smoke from burning wood. They're burning up wooden barrels. She was coughing now. It happens a lot. They're making the inside of the barrels black. They are to waterproof. After the excitement of the last week's session, I was eager to reach the in between state again. We had already spent 90 minutes exploring her lifetime as a servant. I had learned about bedspreads, butter, and barrels. I was hungry for a more spiritual lesson. Forsaking my patience, I advanced her to her death. It's hard to breathe. My chest hurts so much. Catherine was gasping in obvious pain. My heart hurts. It's beating fast. I'm so cold. My body is shaking. Catherine began to shiver. People are in the room giving me leaves to drink, a tea. It smells funny. They're rubbing a liniment on my chest. fever, but I feel very cold. She quietly died, floating up to the ceiling. She could see her body in the bed, a small, shriveled woman in her 60s. She was just floating, waiting for someone to come and help her. She became aware of a light, feeling herself drawn toward it. The light was becoming brighter and more luminous. We waited in silence as minutes slowly passed. Suddenly, she was in another lifetime, thousands of years before Abby. Catherine was softly whispering, I see lots of garlic hanging in an open room. I can smell it. It is believed to kill many evils in the blood and to cleanse the body, but you must take it every day. The garlic is outside too, on the top of the garden. Other herbs are there, figs, dates, and other herbs. These plants help you. My mother is buying garlic and the other herbs. Somebody in the house is sick. These are strange roots. Sometimes you just keep them in your mouth or ears or other openings. You just keep them in. I see an old man with a beard. He's one of the healers in the village. He tells you what to do. There is some type of plague killing the people. They are not emblaming because they are afraid of the disease. People are just buried. The people are unhappy about this. They feel the soul cannot pass on this way, contrary to Catherine's after death reports. But so many have died. The cattle are dying too. Water, floods. People are sick because of the floods. She apparently realized this bit of epidemiology. I also have some disease from the water. It makes your stomach hurt. The diseases of the bowel and stomach. You lose so much water from the body. I am by the water to bring more back. But that's what is killing us. I bring the water back. I see my mother and brothers. My father has already died. My brothers are very sick. I paused before progressing her in time. I was fascinated by the way her conceptions of death and the afterlife changed so much from lifetime to lifetime. And yet her experience of death itself was so uniform, so similar every time. A conscious part of her would leave the body around the moment of death, floating above and then being drawn to a wonderful and energizing light. She would then wait for someone to come and help her. The soul automatically passed on. Embalming, burial rituals, or any other procedure after death had nothing to do with it. It was automatic. No preparation necessary, like walking through a just open door. The land is barren and dry. I see no mountains around here, just land, very flat and dry. One of my brothers had died. I'm feeling better, but the pain is still there. However, she did not live much longer. I am lying on a pallet with some type of covering. She was very ill, and no amount of garlic or other herbs could prevent her death. Soon she was floating above her body, drawn to the familiar light. She waited patiently for someone to come to her. Her head began to roll slowly from side to side as if she was scanning some scene. Her voice was again husky and loud. They tell me there are many gods, for God is in each of us. They tell me there are many gods, for God is in each of us. I recognized the voice from the in between life state by its huskiness as well as by the decidedly spiritual tone of the message. What she said next left me breathless, pulling the air from my lungs. Your father is here, and your son, who is a small child. Your father says you will know him because his name is Avrom, and your daughter is named after him. Also, his death was due to his heart. Your son's heart was also important, but it was backward, like a chicken's. He made a great sacrifice for you out of his love. His soul is very advanced. His death satisfied his parents' debts. Also, he wanted to show you that medicine could only go so far, that its scope is very limited. Catherine stopped speaking, and I sat in an awed silence as my numbed mind tried to sort things out. The room felt icy cold. Catherine knew very little about my personal life. On my desk, I had a baby picture of my daughter, grinning happily with her two bottom baby teeth in an otherwise empty mouth. My son's picture was next to it. Otherwise, Catherine knew virtually nothing about my family or my personal history. I had been well schooled in traditional psychotherapeutic techniques. The therapist was supposed to be a tabula rasa, a blank tablet upon which the patient could project her own feelings, thoughts, and attitudes. These then could be analyzed by the therapist, enlarging the arena of the patient's mind. I had kept this therapeutic distance with Catherine. She really knew me only as a psychiatrist, nothing of my past or of my private life. I had never even displayed my diplomas in the office. The greatest tragedy in my life had been the unexpected death of a firstborn son, Adam, who was only 23 days old when he died, early in 1971. About 10 days after we had brought him home from the hospital, he had developed respiratory problems and projectile vomiting. The diagnosis was extremely difficult to make: total anomalous pulmonary venous drainage with an atrial septal defect, we were told. It occurs once in approximately every 10 million births. The pulmonary veins, which were supposed to bring oxygenated blood back to the heart, were incorrectly routed, entering the heart on the wrong side. It was as if his heart were turned around, backward. Extremely, extremely rare. Heroic open heart surgery could not save Adam, who died several days later. We mourned for months, our hopes and dreams dashed. Our son, Jordan, was born a year later, a grateful balm for our wounds. At the time of Adam's death, I had been wavering about my earlier choice of psychiatry as a career. I was enjoying my internship in internal medicine, and I had been offered a residency position in medicine. After Adam's death, I firmly decided that I would make psychiatry my profession. I was angry that modern medicine, with all of its advanced skills and technology, could not save my son, this simple, tiny baby. My father had been in excellent health until he experienced a massive heart attack early in 1979 at the age of 61. He survived the initial attack, but his heart wall had been irretrievably damaged, and he died 3 days later. This was about 9 months before Catherine's first appointment. My father had been a religious man, more ritualistic than spiritual. His Hebrew name, Avram, suited him better than the English, Alvin. 4 months after his death, our daughter Amy was born, and she was named after him. Here, in 1982, in my quiet, darkened office, a deafening cascade of hidden, secret truths were pouring upon me. I was swimming in a spiritual sea, and I loved that water. My arms were goose flesh. Catherine could not possibly know this information. There was no place even to look it up. My father's Hebrew name, that I had a son who died in infancy from 1 in 10 million heart defect, my brooding about medicine, my father's death, and my daughter's naming. It was too much, too specific, too true. This unsophisticated laboratory technician was a conduit for transcendental knowledge. And if she could reveal these truths, what else was there? I needed to know more. Who? I spluttered. Who is there? Who tells you these things? The masters, she whispered. The master spirits tell me, they tell me I have lived 86 times in physical state. Catherine's breathing slowed and her head stopped rolling from side to side. She was resting. I wanted to go on, but the implications of what she had said were distracting me. Did she really have 86 previous lifetimes? And what about the masters? Could it be could our lives be guided by spirits who have no physical bodies but who seem to possess great knowledge? Are they steps on the way to God? Was this real? I found it difficult to doubt in view of what she had just revealed, yet I still struggled to believe. I was overcoming years of alternative programming, but in my head and my heart and my gut, I knew she was right. She was revealing truths. And what about my father and my son? In a sense, they were still alive. They had never really died. They were talking to me years after their burials and proving it by providing specific, very secret information. And since all that was true, was my son as advanced spiritually as Catherine had said? Did he indeed agree to be born to us and then die 23 days later in order to help us with our karmic debts and, in addition, to teach me about medicine and humankind, to nudge me back to psychiatry? I was very heartened by these thoughts. Beneath my chill, I felt a great loving stirring, a strong feeling of oneness and connection with the heavens and the earth. I had missed my father and my son. It was good to hear from them again. My life would never be the same again. A hand had reached down and irreversibly altered the course of my life. All of my reading, which had been done with careful scrutiny and skeptical detachment, fell into place. Catherine's memories and messages were true. My intuitions about the accuracy of her experiences had been correct. I had the facts, I had the proof. Yet, even in that very instant of joy and understanding, even in that moment of the mystical experience, the old and familiar logical and doubting part of my mind lodged an objection. Perhaps it's just ESP or some psychic skill. Granted, it's it's quite a skill, but it doesn't prove reincarnation or master spirits. Yet this time I knew better. The thousands of cases recorded in the scientific literature, especially those of children speaking foreign languages to which they had never been exposed, of having birthmarks at the site of previous mortal wounds, of these same children knowing where treasured objects were hidden or buried thousands of miles away and decades or centuries earlier, all echoed Catherine's message. I knew Catherine's character and her mind. I knew what she was and what she wasn't. No, my mind could not fool me this time. The proof was too strong and too overwhelming. This was real. She would verify more and more as our sessions progressed. At times over the succeeding weeks, I would forget the power and immediacy of this session. At times, I would fall back into the rut of everyday life, worrying about the usual things. Doubts would surface. It was as if my mind, when not focused, tended to drift back into the old patterns, beliefs, and skepticism. But then I would remind myself this actually happened. I appreciated how difficult it is to believe these concepts without having personal experience. The experience is necessary to add emotional belief to intellectual understanding, but the impact of experience always fades to some degree. At first, I was not aware of why I was changing so much. I knew I was more calm and patient, and others were telling me how peaceful I looked, how I seemed more rested and happier. I felt more hope, more joy, more purpose, and more satisfaction in my life. It dawned on me that I was losing the fear of death. I wasn't afraid of my own death or of non existence. I was less afraid of losing others, or even though I would certainly miss them. How powerful the fear of death is. People go to such great lengths to avoid the fear. Midlife crisis, affairs with younger people, cosmetic surgeries, exercise obsessions, accumulating material possessions, procreating to carry on a name, striving to be more and more youthful, and so on. We are frightfully concerned with our own deaths, sometimes so much so that we forget the real purpose of our lives. I was also becoming less obsessive. I didn't need to be in the control all the time. Although I was trying to become less serious, this transformation was difficult for me. I still had much to learn. My mind was indeed now open to the possibility, even the probability, that Catherine's utterances were real. The incredible facts about my father and my son could not be obtained through the usual senses. Her knowledge and abilities certainly proved an outstanding psychic ability. It made sense to believe her, but I remained wary and skeptical about what I read in the popular literature. Who are these people reporting psychic phenomena, life after death, and other amazing paranormal events? Are they trained in the scientific method of observation and validation? Despite my overwhelming and wonderful experience with Catherine, I knew my naturally critical mind would continue to scrutinize every new fact, every piece of information. I would check to see if it fit into the framework being built with every session. I would examine it from every angle with a scientist's microscope. And yet, I could no longer deny that the framework was already there. So I think that's all for today, friends. Yeah, if you have any questions or if anything to be shared, please go ahead.
Hello, Madhu.
Hi, hi. Hi, Usha.
Yeah, it was a wonderful session and, of course, a wonderful read. I got goosebumps when when the Dr. Weiss was describing that he was shocked. Oh my
Mhm.
God, I could feel that.
Yeah,
And it's it's not only that, but it's your wonderful reading. Thank you so much, Madhu.
thank you. Thank you so much, Usha. Yeah, this you see the doctor how his belief systems and
Mm-hmm.
thoughts about past life had completely changed. Maybe
Yeah.
that was very important. That experience was very important for him to be to be revealed, so that like he can give a thought on it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, if that wouldn't have happened, maybe he would have been still in the logical mind, working with a logical mind. Just
Mm-hmm.
because she shared about the father and the son,
It was like
son's
an
death.
awakening, like
Yes,
a trigger for him.
yes, exactly.
Mm,
So very
that's so
nice.
true. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Madhu.
Thank you, Usha.
No, hello, Madhu.
Hi,
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi.
Yes.
Hi,
Hi.
Lakshmi.
Yeah, hi. So, yes, wonderful reading. And I like the statement what he made, the psychiatrist should be an empty tablet. I think that is
Mm,
applicable for every individual.
very
So,
true.
yeah, so keeping ourselves empty and listening to others' problem, it's a big thing to do, and I feel like it's a something we have it. If a person is following that way, then he or she has achieved a lot. So
True.
it's a very difficult thing to follow. I think every one of us should follow that.
Very true.
Yeah.
And this is what no the last book about Yashodhara. When Yashodhara was talking all the time, she was not listening to others' experiences. When she emptied, and when she started listening, then things
Hmm.
flowed in her life. So it's the same thing. So we have to keep ourselves empty so that we can listen to others with so
Yes.
much keen listening is very important.
Yes. And actually, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you give a solution to that problem or not, but listening helps the opposite person a lot.
Very true.
Right. Yeah. Yes, and with respect to meditation, today I experienced something different. I felt like something is revolving around my body and at very fast motion. And I
Wow.
was not feeling giddiness. I was not feeling anything. I was feeling like my body is stagnant, but
Mm.
something is revolving around me. That was like, yeah, it was a wonderful experience for me.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful Lakshmi. You
Yes.
you're experiencing great things about the pressure in your forehead region and everything. So wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, now also I have that pressure in the forehead region. It has not come down,
Mm.
but yes, it is just there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Great, great experience. Just whatever is happening, just be a witness, and it's all happening for a good only.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Thank you, Lakshmi. And thank you, Swapna, and thank you, Sahar. It's good to have you. Thank you, Debasmita. Thank you, Balaji. Yes, Ram, please go ahead. Yes, Sahar. Hey,
Sorry,
Sahar.
no, go Ram and I'll be late.
Yeah, Ram.
Go,
You,
Sahir.
Master
Okay,
Sahar.
fiancé.
Yes.
I miss both of you and the whole family.
Sahar,
Okay.
your voice is breaking, Sahar. Hello? Sahar, are you there? Yes, yes. Now we can hear you, Sahar. Can
Okay.
perfect.
So
Yeah.
Ram, if you insist, I will go first.
Yeah.
I miss both of you and I miss the whole family. It's been 4 days now without meditation at all. Not radio or by myself because I was moving, but uh, today it was amazing. I wished it was lasted for 3 hours like we used to do. I
Mm,
wish you do it once again, actually.
yes, we can plan
And by
once.
the
Yeah.
way, I want to thank Ram. Yeah, yeah, yes, please. And I want to thank Ram and Sneha for encouraging me to do like them and get myself a very, very small tongue drum. And
Mm.
I know now how they enjoy it. It is amazing. And the piece of kalimba, African kalimba as well, they were amazing.
Wow.
And the story, I listened to a little part because of internet connection, but would you please share the book's name? Because in the next few days I don't have internet connection, so I can follow up with it or
Sure,
something.
sure,
Because it
Sahar.
seems
It is
amazing.
the book is Many Lives, Many Masters.
Many lives, many masters. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you so
it's
much,
there.
Madhu.
It's there in the in the drive in the Beam family group. There
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a
In the
drive.
library? Yeah.
Yes, in the library. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is there in the
Yeah,
library.
I have it.
Yeah, great.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sahar.
Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, I have to go now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, Madhuji, hearing to this, your reading, I suggested this book to one of my client, and
Mm,
he's also very happy to start reading this book. And
wonderful.
today in the meeting, they were asking me, if anyone has any tips to share to
Mm,
get rid of the stress in the
mm,
work life. And now, because of Corona, everyone are working from home, so the stress is actually more.
mm.
So also suggested them the meditation that we can follow,
Wow,
and many people liked it.
wonderful.
And
You're
thank you
doing
so much.
great.
Yeah.
Great, Lakshmi.
Yeah.
Great that you are supporting. This is what we have to do. We once we know what we are experiencing, we should not stay calm. We should let everybody know.
Yes,
You're
yes,
doing
true.
great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And thank you
Thank you.
for you and Ram. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Lakshmi.
much. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So thanks, Sahir. And nice to hear that now you have a tongue drum. So we have partners, new partners joining
Right.
into the band. So that's wonderful and good to have you after few days. That few days. So very happy to connect to you and hear your voice, Sahir. That's really wonderful. And coming to the book part, this is one of my favorite books because this had really cleared a lot of longing questions within me, and particularly this topic with when you were referring, when Brainways was referring about this story when his son passed away in 23 days, and then that he came with a plan to clear their karma. What a deep meaning it has. And we always see death as the biggest loss. Yes, it is true, as far as we see with a like seeing with a gap of a keyhole. But when we open the door and understand the dynamics behind it, we don't say, we really understand that everything happened as per a grander plan. We don't cry, or let's say we don't feel the loss, because we do know that things have happened for greater good, and there is never a disconnectivity. The way the soul comes back, and all these details. That's really wonderful. And also the topic about uh, not having the fear of death. What a wonderful feeling, or let's say what a wonderful life everyone can live if that understanding and knowing seeps into our being. It's just utmost freedom one can experience. And I think that's the freedom one can experience when we really know that death is not the end, and when we really have no fear to death. Yeah. And when we do understand that death is not going to separate us from what we experience. So a lot of messages in every story, every experience that comes in every page of this book. So very happy to rehear again these things. So thank you, Madhu, and thanks everyone, because all of you keep this energy rolling. So thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ron.
Can you please elaborate how is the death of the son is helping him to get rid of that karma? Right. I could not understand that statement.
Madhu, can you connect the dots?
Yeah, sure. So here it is mentioned that in that when I had a miscarriage, it's the same thing. Like I had to experience my karma. That's why the miscarriage had happened in my life. So the same way in this doctor's life as well, they lost their firstborn just after 23 days because they have to experience the karma. Like the pain or these things, they have to experience it. And once it gets cleared, now that, like maybe it was there deep down within him, that his son died at early 23 days old, when he was 23 days old. But after Catherine had revealed him that he could able to see this, she could able to see the son of doctors, and he's an advanced soul. When she could able to tell all these things, then it got a relief in him that
Right.
so like the the clearing of karma is like when you understand that like everything happens for a reason, and it is who you have created it, and there's something that you have done in the past, that's why you have to pay for it now. When you understand that, I think there is no suffering.
Okay.
So I
Got
think
it.
and because in my case, this is what happened. I had experienced miscarriage. It's just because I have to, pay my karma, pay my debt, like all these things. So which happened in the past previous lives. So
Mm.
until and unless it won't happen, I will not I will not move on. These things should happen. But for the ones who are in meditation, for the ones who are practicing meditation, or who are in the spiritual practices, for them, they know this concept of karma, so there is no suffering.
Correct.
There might be pain, but there is no suffering.
Right.
So once you only understand, there is a clarity. So if you don't understand, you are in suffering.
Correct. Correct. Understood,
So,
Madhu. Thank you.
so and everything in our life, whatever is happening, good or bad, it is evolving around karma only. So
Hmm.
yeah.
But there is nothing called nullifying, right? Like people say, if you do good, your bad karma is nullified. It's nothing like that. You have
No,
to suffer for the karma.
Madhu, sorry to
Yes,
interrupt.
yes,
Sorry, I'm so sorry. You answer Lakshmi and then probably I will. Sorry,
yeah,
Lakshmi.
yeah.
Mm.
So I think Ram, you want to answer some, you want to say something? Please go ahead.
You know, why do we have a thought that we want to nullify our bad karma? Because we fear of our experiences. Why do we think so? Everything is a part of learning. So karma, to put in a baggage of good and bad, we are already kind of consciously doing things because we want to do good karma.
Yeah.
The moment we think that I do this because that is a good karma, I think the main essence of it is lost. And then the other way around, why do we consider bad karma bad? They're just tags that are given. Karma is karma. Just do. And what we experience is an experience. We should not be calling a good experience or a bad experience. Just like we lose someone, we call it bad, but basically it is not bad. There is a lot of good happening behind it. At the soul level, if we look at things, there is no good and bad. It is only at our logical mind level we term things as good and bad. Even at the soul level, there is not called bad karma, good karma. There is learnings, there are lessons, there are experiences. So we should not, I think, be falling into the trap of uh, what your deep down heart says, this is right for you, you have to do it. Yeah,
Okay.
this brings good for everyone, you have to do it. You have to do it not because it is good and that is a good karma. It is because your calling, it is because your purpose. So when somebody speaks about meditation, they should not be speaking because it brings good karma for them. That intent, the moment it sprouts, the whole essence of it is lost. So one has to do because that is their calling, that is their purpose of existence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got not a lot of learnings from you. Thank you, Ram.
And also the topic of how someone passing away cleanses the karma is also very interesting. I would like to add one more story to it. This is also a real story where a person in USA, he retires from military and he gets back home after retirement. So all through his life, he was waiting for that moment because he was in deep love with the family. He had 2 sons and wife, and he lived all his life, everything thinking about this family. So now he was very happy that in the end, I have the opportunity to spend my good time of life with my family. So he retires, get back to home. Just a few weeks later, in a road accident, both the sons die. And he goes completely into depression, thinking, why had this happen? I mean, how did it can happen? That I lived all my life just for the family, and now the moment come that I can spend some good time, I lose them. Yeah, in that deep depression, after a few months, he also gets sick, and when he goes to the doctor, they diagnose him with cancer. So the moment he was diagnosed with cancer, the wife also left him. So he remains alone. So he is completely broken. He says to himself, what is this? I have loved my life, and my family so much that I lived just for them. I retired, I come back home, I lose my both sons. And then I'm diagnosed with health conditions. And at this moment, my loving wife, instead of being beside me, she leaves me and go. what is this happening? What wrong did I do? So he's completely into this, let's say, broken state, and that is when the near and dear ones around, the friends, they think of trying to support him. So they suggest him, because they come to know about this past life regression stuff, that Dr. Brian Weiss is around there. So they suggest him, please go there. Then he rejects. They tell, at least if you go there, maybe you find some new people, new friends, so you can change your mood. So somehow they convince him. He goes there, and when he participates in this, let's say, group regression session, he could see one of his past life, and in that life, he realizes that he was a French, what do we say, undercover agent, and the wife of this lifetime was also in that lifetime, and she was, I think, in Switzerland, and they met. They met, and then they kind of decide that they need to get married. But because he was so much in love for work and for the country, he says, just wait if you would like to get married. And the lady agrees. And she waits all through her life till he continued to work undercover. And when he retires, he goes back, and she's still waiting all through her life without getting married, waiting for him. So, and she always rejected this idea. She said, we like each other, we love each other, let's get married, leave your work. Our life is more important. But because of his love for work and his country, he continued to be there. So the lady continued to wait for him. They get married. And then the same night after, on the day of marriage, because he was an undercover agent, let's say the people who were following him for, all his undercover works he was doing for the country, they killed him in front of her. So she was completely broken, and she says, I had told him not to do this job all through my life. I loved him, and because of that he did not hear. I have waited for all my life, and it ended that when we got married, he's killed, and now I have to live my whole life alone in this pain. So the moment he sees this past life, he realizes that this is part of, at the soul level, understanding that when the wife left, there is still a fear in that soul as the wife who left, that even in this lifetime, at one particular point of time, she may re-experience living alone if he dies, and she don't want to experience that. That is why she left at the soul level. And then at the same time, he has to undergo this in order to understand certain dynamics of, let's say, give and take, or let's say at the soul level, karma, if we want to say. So even in that bad situations, if we want to say it, how we look from the outside, there is always a deeper reasons, higher learnings, if we do reach to those points of lessons behind it. So none of the events that happen in our life that we consider from the outside world bad, call it death, call it anything that we experience, is never bad at the soul level. It is always good. There is no bad that exists. Soul doesn't look things as bad. Soul only looks at it as an experience in order that it can grow. So it's a wonderful understanding we can arrive to as we move on in this spiritual path, and that is why the statement "all is well and we create our own reality" falls true. Thank you.
Thank you, Ram. Wonderful explanation. Really helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
He also has another book called Miracles Happen. I read
Yeah.
that also. Yeah.
Yes, Balagaru. Yeah.
Hey, Madhu.
Messages from the master.
Like,
Yes, Kavita.
Yeah, such a wonderful session, but I was only there bits and pieces due to my work and meetings. So, will this be up on YouTube
Yes.
immediately or it will take some time?
No, it will be there immediately. I will share the link.
Okay, okay, wonderful. I don't want to miss it. Yeah, and great sharings, Ram and Madhu. Thank you so
Yep.
much. I'll
Thank
go
you,
back and
Kavalita.
listen. Yeah.
Yeah. And good that Ram had shared this wonderful story. Yeah, this is also one of Dr. Brainway's from a, from his books.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all his books are really wonderful. Even the other book, which is Messages from Master,
Messages from
is also
Master.
beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
Messages from Masters.
yeah,
So that one is also wonderful. But everything is consolidated in the book that you are reading.
that's true. Yeah, great. Thanks, Ram. Thanks for sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, a few years ago, before I came into this pyramid meditation, yeah, I read when we were in Boston, Dr. Weiss books, and also Dying to Be Me,
Oh,
Anita
yeah.
Moorjani's.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she
that's
was, yeah, another book of hers also. Yeah, I was very curious at that time. I was interested to go and take some PLR sessions, but I couldn't find nearby somebody.
yeah. And
But very interesting, but you know what, when I was reading and all these, and also at the same time I was participating Gita discussion sessions, when I mentioned, they didn't agree, they didn't they still, people in Vedanta, they don't accept all this.
mm,
I don't know why,
yeah.
but that's okay, I kept quiet. But
Yeah, it's when it is time for them to understand, they will understand. Like for
yeah,
this doctor, you see this,
that's right.
though there are so many scriptures he had read, but still his logical mind was restricting him to know that there is afterlife or there was previous lives. So when time is right, I think they everyone will be ready to take this in.
Yes,
I was not ready. Also, we have heard it in the scriptures, as I told earlier, but we, until and unless you don't experience it, or until and unless you don't feel it, until and unless you don't hear your closed ones sharing their stories, then you will not. Then only you can, yes, you can say yes. There is something in that. Otherwise, yeah,
yeah, even though in Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, everywhere in Hindu scriptures it says that there is a life after death, and we take so many births, we go through so many, but
mhm,
still I don't know, some people, they do not accept big books like this.
yeah.
I'm surprised, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's just that it's not their time. When they're
Yeah,
ready, they
like you
will.
said, as long as they have the logic mind, it's very difficult. We had to drop the logic mind.
Mm, yeah. So we have to just be compassionate. And whenever I see these kind of people, I will not judge them. Instead, I, I, I look back at myself that yes, I was also like them.
Yeah, people
So,
are at
so,
different levels. Yeah,
so yeah, like we cannot go to a
that's
LKG person, LKG student, and say about the university studies. They are in
yeah,
that level. We cannot say that like okay, why you not doing this, right? When they slowly evolve, they will understand.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Madhu.
Thank you.
Wonderful sharings from you and Ram. We are
Thank you.
learning
Thank you.
everything new every day.
We are also learning. We are also listening and learning in your experiences, and it's very important that we share, and this is how we learn from each other. This is not only one way; it is always two ways. So thank you
Yeah.
also, Balagaru, for sharing these things. Yeah, yeah. Anybody
So,
else, friends? Yes, Archana, you're here. I think Archana is not here. Okay. So, friends, I think we can again see each other tomorrow. Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. we'll be having a Germany time. 6 a.m. we will be having a meditation. I will be doing it. It will be for around half an hour or 40 minutes. And then again,
that's tonight for us in
yeah,
US.
it's
Okay.
tonight for you. It's 11 p.m.
Yeah.
11 p.m. CST. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and again, we will meet at this time, 6 p.m. Germany time or 11 a.m.
Yeah, US time.
CST, US
Yeah.
time. Right?
CST.
Yeah,
Yes.
11
Thank
a.m.
you,
and
Mata.
11 p.m. CST for
11
us.
a.m., 11
Yeah.
p.m. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Great. So, till then, have a lovely day, lovely evening, and a lovely night, you all. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Bye, everyone.